Hello, I'm Christy Scarrow, and in this interview series, I am talking to experts who help leaders to have an influence, to gain commitment from their teams, and to make an impact. And today, I'm happy to welcome Amanda Melissa. She uses her small business and corporate marketing experience to help ambitious women ready to level up, build influence, and attract dream clients using her 4-step personal branding clarity method. So welcome, Amanda.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited. I really appreciate this, you having me on here. So I'm excited to speak more on brand clarity.
Wonderful. Well, why don't we start there, actually? When you talk about brand clarity, personal brand clarity, tell me a little bit what that means to you.
Yeah, so a lot of my clients, they want to generate revenue for their business and everything like that, but they get so confused on their messaging or, what type of content to post to even for their clients to understand what they're trying to sell and things like that. And, as you know, on social media, we can't just say, go buy my book or go buy my course. So it's definitely getting that clarity and understanding how you're different in the market, having that clarity as to the long-term personal brand strategy. I think if you just go straight to social media strategy, it's going to be it always changes and everything like that. So it's really good to have a roadmap for you in order to understand how you want to come across, what type of clients do you want to work with, and just having that deep understanding of your why and your mission is really key. And it really helps you be able to outsource, having that brand clarity. It helps you in your sales and your marketing. It helps in your content engagement strategies. So it really does have an influence on other things. A lot of my clients, they've always worked with just marketing and they're like, oh, I get so confused. Like I try one strategy and then I do another marketing strategy and then it doesn't work. And so they're just kind of bandwagoning like different types of things. And that's why it's really good to have a clear understanding of your brand and how you're different and how you can help people and making a message and positioning yourself so that way you can accomplish everything that you want to accomplish in your business.
Yeah, I have to admit, as a business owner myself, I've gone that rocky path a little bit where you just try something and see what sticks. I'm a big believer in strategy, and I help clients in that area, but marketing for me is still a bit of a newer process. And I like that you said it starts with kind of knowing that initial message and being really clear about that before you jump in and try these different things, because you can get easily lost, and I can attest to on where to go in social media and what to share, and in content overload, I think sometimes happens.
Definitely. I notice a lot of times my clients, they're usually people that have already done a business or two, and then they're like, I want to have a clear roadmap, so because they've already tried all these other things, and so they're like, I just want to get it done the first time. They're tired of just going and blindly and doing these marketing strategies and stuff. And online marketers are really great at selling their courses and everything like that, right? But ultimately having that personalized one-on-one custom strategy for you is so key, because brand is so different for everybody. There's somebody that does exactly what you do, but they do it in a different manner, right? And your brand is so different. So that's something that I like to get across for people to know.
Yeah, and I think some people think of brand as like it's my logo, it's my colors, and it really isn't that. And you talk about this idea of feeling less invisible. So what do you recommend for people who feel like they're in that space? I have this business, but nobody knows about it. Where do you start?
That's something that is one of my methods that I work on actually with personal brand clarity. The first step, getting the clarity of understanding how you're different, who you are. And then the second step is actually visibility, right? So we need to be seen in order for our clients to see us, know us, trust us, so that way we can deliver the results that they're looking for. And so there's so many different ways that you can go about this, whether it's PR, using social media, collaborating with other people, using podcasts or things like that. I'm all for a holistic approach. I don't think that you will have to solely be on social media. I think social media is a media platform, so you can ultimately use other things to promote it, right? Like a podcast. But if you're not comfortable being on camera and everything like that, it's a really great time right now, especially because there's so many podcasts to find find out where your customers are hanging out, and then, collaborating, being on those podcasts, so that way you can generate more awareness for your brand, and those people will hopefully book a call with you, or depending, obviously, every business owner is different, or if they want to buy your book and things like that. So it's definitely a mindset issue of being able to put yourself out there and being seen and being comfortable being seen. But I think that's why it's really good to have clarity first. And I think too many times people step into the visibility part, right? They're like, oh, I know I need to do PR. I know I need to be on a podcast or do social media, but they don't have that clarity in the beginning, right? Of those brand elements of like knowing your mission and values and how you're different and things like that. And that's why I really like to do the clarity first, then doing the visibility afterwards, because you want to be able to be confident, right, in what you're doing and what you're saying, especially if you're putting yourself out there. So it's like I said, having that clarity is super important, and just being able to identify, and be comfortable, be confident in who you are, and then you're able to get that visibility, right? Whatever manner that you choose. It's just really important to understand that for people to find you, you have to be seen.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really smart thought, which is, you're right. You jump into, okay, I gotta get out there. I'm posting, I've got my content, I'm getting visible, or maybe I'm not and I'm trying to, but maybe I really am secretly not very confident in what I'm doing. And so starting from a place of, I have a right to be here. I know, what I want to say in the world. And then, using that as your catalyst for your messaging makes a lot of sense. So any tips or things you've encountered in some of your clients where they really are in this self-doubt mode? A lot of business owners kind of start, either you're thinking about starting a business, but you feel like maybe you can't, or you're in it and it's not succeeding, and you start to go into this spin of it's not going to work, or it's, how do you help them get through that?
Yeah, so this is one of the foundations of branding, right? Because it's like a house. You need to have that foundation in order to build a house. Otherwise, it's not going to stand up, right? And too many times people are trying to live in the house, which is a marketing aspect, and they're just, it might be a little bit wobbly and things like that. And so that's why they're not actually seeing any results or anything like that. That's kind of like the comparison that I like to talk about. And I just think that having the foundation is super key. If you want to think about, Kim Kardashian, Sarah Blakely, Oprah, and things like that, they had a clear identification of who they were, what they stood for. Oprah, she talks a lot about her philanthropy, but she does interviews in media, right? So she kind of does like a little bit of everything. And so I think a lot of business owners were so multi-passionate, and it's just being able to identify like having that core brand of, this is the vision, this is where I want to go, this is my mission. It's going to be able to drive you past all those roadblocks that you're going to actually go and face.
Well, I think you touch on an important thing as well, that we tend to be, as entrepreneurs, business owners, idea people, right? Like, I'm excited by this idea and I am excited by this idea. So how do you get people sort of, focused on, you can't do 17 things, what's the one idea, and in terms of clarity, what are some things to think about in that area?
Yeah, so it's really key. I'm gonna add definitely some value here on exactly what I help in my program, but you definitely want to have at least 3 to 4 core brand pillars. Going back to the Oprah reference, she talks about media, philanthropy. She also talks about women and things like that. So she kind of has these 3 core brand pillars, right? And so she goes off of that, and people understand what she's doing and stuff like that. So having these 3 to 4 topics that you can talk about for a really long time, that's so key. And then being able to have subtitles underneath that, you know what I mean? She's in the media, so she's able to, speak and have her own network and things like that. So that makes sense for her, right? And then going back into the philanthropy, she's able to donate, millions of dollars and everything like that. And people, they respect her. They're like, that definitely makes sense for her brand. You know what I mean? So it's definitely just having these 3 to 4 brand pillars, and making sure that whatever it is, that those ideas that you have, they go into those subcategories, right? So you'll want to become like a blog content creator for food if you're always posting about mindset work of like super serious women, you know what I mean? So it might be a little, obviously it depends on like how you're going about it and things like that. I'm just throwing an example out there. Um, but you don't want to post something super funny like food and then you're talking about something super serious, right? Like
Mhm.
female leadership and stuff like that. So it just has to all make sense and it has to be like a cohesive brand. But you can do multiple things. It's not, that's why building a personal brand is super important because it's essentially recession proof, right? Because if you're starting off as one thing and then you're kind of going into something a little bit different, but it has something to do with it, it'll make sense for your brand and people will still know you as by your name, right? For
Yeah.
instance, if you want to talk about Rihanna, she was a really popular musician, in the early 2000s and stuff like that. And now she has two really big brands, which are makeup and she does lingerie for women, right? So she's been able to capitalize on the fact that she was started off as one thing, but she wanted to move into something else, which kind of goes into the point we were talking about of being multi-passionate and like how do you leverage that and everything like that. And so she, spoke up and said that she wanted women to feel more confident in their bodies and, with their image and things like that. So that's why she created those type of companies, right? So it's
Hmm.
definitely just being able to identify your four brand pillars. Obviously we do create a brand story and everything, and it just has to make sense for all categories, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good insight because sometimes that idea feels a bit limiting, right? You have to
Mhm.
pick your topic, but as you explained it, the pillars give you a bit more of an umbrella to work within. So you don't feel like, okay, I'm letting go of all these other things, but at the same time, you are still making some choices because you're not, as you said, going way off brand and posting something that doesn't sort of represent around those pillars. So no, that makes a lot of sense that you have that flexibility. Um, so you're obviously, running your own business as well. And I just like to get a sense, from your learnings and starting your own business, what were maybe some of the challenges you've had that you've been able to overcome and now maybe can help others to do?
Yeah, so I think definitely when you're first starting out, the cool thing is that I do have corporate experience and I also went to school for communications and marketing and everything like that. And so now it's just a matter of making those connections, right? Networking, finding clients and everything like that. And that's the same thing that I help my clients with, which is awesome because I've been in their shoes, right? I know what it's like to feel like you don't really know where to start or you have to put yourself on social media because being in corporate marketing I never really had to put myself, right? I was telling other people to, I was directing them, oh, I need to take this photo, I need to post this, or can you be in this video, so as a business owner I had to also learn to put myself out there, to take videos and post them online and stuff like that. And that's something that I hope resonates with everybody, is just the fact that I'm telling you to do it, but I'm also doing it as well, right? So I can't be on social media not posting videos if I'm telling my clients to do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no,
So
totally. Yeah.
sometimes people are like, oh, your videos are, you're so smiley and all those things. Like, are you gonna make me do that? I'm like, absolutely not. It's just you have to come across how you are authentically yourself, right? You don't compare yourself to me because at the end of the day, I'm just trying to teach you that if I'm doing it, you can do it as well. So, and that's something that I hope resonates with everybody. We're all going through the same thing, and it's important to build that community, working with people that are not only doing what they say, but they're also going through it as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, and there's so many great insights you just shared there about, I think building the community and networking is something that when I was in the corporate space, I didn't realize the importance of it until you go in your own business and then you
Hmm.
realize how important it is. So I do always say to people in that world, still make sure you're making connections, still
Hmm.
always continuously grow. And I do like your thoughts of staying authentic to who you are, and your own voice needs to come across. You can't just copy the way you do it or the way I do it. So, and I would say the other thing that was a big shift for me When I went from, I was in sales, but even I was selling a product to now I'm selling myself. And as you said, that's a different sales tactic. That's a comfort feeling, like, hire me is a bit of a different challenge than just buy this product, right? So you have to feel really confident in what you're offering, and that does take some effort sometimes.
100%. And just to add on to that, that's the difference between personal brand marketing versus product marketing, right? Product marketing, it's a little bit easier. Someone can, if you have an apple, they can film the apple, and, it's so shiny and glossy, right? We see all these, sort of commercials online, right? But it's different from actually, selling, consulting or selling, working with you and things like that. It's a little bit, you need more of a long-term strategy, and to know that, ultimately it's how you stand out. And that's why personal branding is so important. It's for longevity, right? Not just for, a 15-second TikTok video. It's just going to go viral and that's it. So it's really important to understand that personal branding is long term versus, doing, product marketing for a specific product, obviously. So yeah.
And that's a good call out too, because I think sometimes people think, well, I've gone viral, so my business is going to work, and it might obviously have a benefit, but I think focusing on going viral versus focusing on that longer term impact is sometimes a mistake as well. So thank you for sharing that. So we're getting close to the end, but the one thing I know you've got as an offer that I'm going to put in the descriptor is what you call your free 4 personal brand secrets to triple profit. So just give the audience a little bit of a sense about what they're getting if they access that.
Yeah, so like I said earlier in the episode, definitely the 2 ones that are really important are having that clarity and visibility. Clarity comes first in my program, just because of the fact that you can't market something that you don't understand yourself, right? Just doing that deep dive into your branding and yourself, and being able to clearly articulate, like, how you want to stand out, or how you're different, right? We're all commodities essentially, right? There's a lot of different consultants doing the same type of thing. And so it's like, how do you stand out, right? And then going back to visibility, obviously you have to be seen for people to know you, want to work with you, book a call with you, and things like that. And so I kind of talk about different strategies. Like I said, I like social media personally, but I'm all for holistic approaches as well. Like, if you want to do, one quarter a PR and then the next quarter podcasting, that would be amazing. It's just kind of going up to you, but just having that roadmap as to, like, what is even possible, right? I think too many times people just think Facebook ads and that's it. And it's like, that's not necessarily, like, there's a lot of other free tools that you can use first to leverage our brand. And ultimately, depending on your marketing strategy, it's really going to be able to determine who you attract, right? So if you want to find out the next 2 steps or secrets, definitely feel free to grab this checklist, and then you can let me know what you think, reply back to me, and I'm just super excited.
Well, thank you. And now you've definitely piqued my curiosity. So check that out for sure. Really appreciate you taking the time, Amanda. Anything last that you want to share before we wrap up today?
I will definitely make sure you have all my links, but definitely make sure to follow me on social media. Instagram and LinkedIn is where I'm most active. I do a little bit of TikTok, but definitely more community based. You can feel free to, message me on Instagram and let me know how you liked this episode, and for LinkedIn as well.
Wonderful. Thank you. Definitely. So I appreciate your time and being part of the conversation.
Thank you.